And now we are recording. So welcome, boys and girls, cats and dogs. We are an inclusive channel here. Today I am interviewing Pasquale, who has a wonderful Instagram page called Italian Knitting Man. And he does some beautiful work, and he is also pretty easy on the eyes himself. And so I'm not going to say that the knitting is the only reason I look at his pictures. So, so tell us, Pasquale, tell us everything there is to know about you.
Oh, that's a lot then. We need more than 1 hour.
Perhaps.
Yeah, so maybe as you can see in the Instagram profile, it's not a long time I'm doing it, so it's maybe 4 or 5 months. I started to do that Instagram account.
Just the Instagram, yeah. But the knitting, how long have you been doing the knitting?
Sorry?
How long have you been knitting?
So I started, it was like 2 years ago, but then I interrupted it because I didn't like it. I don't know, it was not the right time to start. So I restarted during Corona. I had time, and then I said, come on, I want to do something, not only looking Netflix, like things like that. And then I really fell in love with the yarn, with knitting, which 2-3 years ago I didn't. So I don't know why. I have a theory why, because the first thing I did was a scarf. And it was like a scarf, the yarn. I just bought it somewhere for, I don't know, $2, just to learn a little bit. And I think this was a big mistake. So, because the second time I started, I wanted a good yarn, good quality, beautiful color. And I didn't give up. Because I thought, come on, I spent $100 for the yarn. I can't give up now. I have really to stay there and continue my scarf.
Oh my gosh!
And this was really, because if it was for just $2, maybe I would have given up again. So maybe this was the reason why this time I was harder, and I really saw, wow, it's cool. I like that. So
that makes a lot of sense, actually, because I've always said I was all about the budget yarns, but my tastes, as time goes on and I'm getting older, my tastes are becoming more expensive, and I'm liking better and better and better yarns.
Correct.
Yeah, so that's really nice. There was as I was scrolling through your Instagram just a minute ago, I saw this one where you were holding up. One picture where you're holding up 2 gifts, one for your mother, one for your father.
Correct.
And I think at that time you said that your mother did not even know you were knitting yet.
Correct.
How did that go over?
So my mother, when she was young, she made really clothes. She's very, very able to do clothes like this. So I was a little bit afraid to come with something like this to her, which is like a teacher, No, her reaction was really positive. So she was really surprised. And yeah, she taught me why not to do that once together, because she also loved to knit in the past. And she said, come on, son, I didn't know that you start. Let's do it together. So I have to organize Saturday afternoon, coffee, tea, and yarning with knitting with my mother.
Moms are great, aren't they?
As Italian, of course.
Of course. Well, Southern U.S., yeah, moms are great. Although my mom is now gone.
As an Italian, I was a big exception, because usually, I don't know in America how it is. Here in Switzerland, they say, oh, Italian guys stay at home until 30, and then they go out of home and to the new family, to the wife, for example. And I went out from home, I was 21, which is in Switzerland normal. And for Italian people, this is too, it was too fast. So my mother was there crying and asking me, what did I wrong? So I said, nothing, Mom. I'm just big enough, I can go out from my home. So mom are great, but I believe that, yes, let them go when you are around 21, 22, just to make your own steps in your life. So
Okay, now, most of my audience is American. Not everybody in America knows that a substantial part of Switzerland is like Italian. So tell me about how you are Italian, but you live in Switzerland. What part of Switzerland do you live? Where?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Let me try that again. That was not a good sentence in English, but
Okay. No, so I am born and grew up in Switzerland. So
hmm
I'm more Swiss than Italian from the thinking part, I would say. So I'm mixed. I'm mixed because my mother came to Switzerland. She was 7, so she speaks very good Swiss German. So it's another dialect than in Germany.
I've heard
So,
about that Swiss
yeah.
German.
Yeah, so it's completely different. So I say we read and we write German, the high
Uh-huh.
German like in Germany, but we speak Swiss German. So a German guy doesn't understand really. Maybe from South Germany they understand us, but the rest of Germany they don't understand us. So they need maybe a half and a year to live in Switzerland to understand us. They think it's something from Netherlands, from Belgium, you know, if they hear us. So my mother speaks Swiss German, what I want to say. And my father came to Switzerland, he was around 18. So he didn't really speak Swiss German when I was born. So I was obligated to speak Italian with my father, otherwise he couldn't understand me. So for me, it was good to speak Italian, of course. And with my mother, I spoke Swiss German. So I spoke both languages when I was a child. And I had to go to the Italian school every Wednesday afternoon when whole Switzerland had a day off in the afternoon. We Italian had to go to school. I hated my mom every Wednesday afternoon, you can imagine. But today, I'm really, really happy that I did this school because
Oh,
to
of
learn
course, yeah.
Italian is very important, especially the grammatic, etc. So I born
hmm
here, I grew up here, but that's the thing in Switzerland, because I know in America it's not like this. Even if you're born here in Switzerland, you don't have the passport. So I'm still not Swiss. Even if I'm 45, I'm Italian. I have an Italian passport. Even if I'm born here, I grew up here. Yeah, that's Switzerland. Every beautiful thing.
That's interesting. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. I I know that some of those countries um, make it very difficult to become citizens. So, and I don't know what the rules are everywhere. And there are actually websites and YouTube channels where you can find where a lot of Americans go to look for a place to repatriate. You know, and whenever there's some sort of a political thing, everybody's talking about moving to another country.
Mm.
So, so then, how many languages do you speak?
So I speak Italian and German. And then at school, you learn French here in Switzerland because we have 3, officially 4 languages, but the 4th one is Rätoromansch, which is 1% in Switzerland speaking that language, so it's not really important. So I learned French. As Italian, it's really easy to learn French, so it was okay for me. And then I learned English because I went to Australia to learn English for 3 months in 2001. So, and sometimes I use it also for work. So this is why I also speak a little English, but there are a lot of people who speak better English than I do. In Switzerland, it's quite normal that people can speak English. I mean, so I speak 4 languages: Swiss, German, Italian, French, and English.
Well, I'm sure you've heard the joke, you know, what do you call someone who speaks 2 languages? Bilingual, 3 languages, trilingual, 4 languages, polyglot, 1 language, American. So,
Okay.
but yeah, we we I think it's a bad thing that we no longer require foreign languages in most schools now. I love language myself, so uh, I've studied French, Italian, and German because I also wanted to be an opera singer, so that's why I studied French, Italian, and German. Um, I think your English is very good.
Thank you, thank you. So what can you say in Italian? Tell me something you can you say?
Oh, si mi chiamano Mimi.
Okay, I didn't know that you sing. Wow,
Una furtiva lagrima.
very classic. That's
Yeah.
great. Classic.
So yeah, I can do. Oh gosh. Oh, there was the Rossini tarantella that I used to do. Oh, and I can't remember the words anymore because I'm very, very old.
Come on. Did
No,
you
I
know
used to.
about the classic,
I'm
about the
sorry.
classic song? Did you know that usually to sing the classic one, so the opera one, is always Italian at first place and at second place English, because of the vowels. The vowels are really open mouth, so
Mm-hmm.
that's why when you sing because I sung classic in past also, but just for a year, and I realized that really Italian and English has the beautiful, most beautiful vowels. I,
Yeah,
with a really open
exactly.
mouth.
Italian has pure vowels.
Yeah,
And there are many people who speak about vocal technique only in terms of vowels and getting the vowels right and the vowel placement.
yeah.
And if you have the vowels right, no matter where you are in your voice, you'll be fine. Um, I studied. Well, when I was young, I was going to be a Nemarino, Una fortiva lagrima. But then as I grew older, I would have been more of a Cavaradossi, you know. Those arias are escaping me right now, but it doesn't matter. It's not about me. It's about you.
I was just
So
wondering.
yeah, I somehow get the sense that a lot of your perhaps even your work, your career is about design. I'm so digging that staircase behind you right now. I think it's beautiful. Because it doesn't appear to have any support, but of course it must.
So
So do
you
you
mean
do something in art and design?
art and design? Not at all. Not at all.
No?
No. Really?
Engineering or anything?
No. So I love to be creative. I mean, but I don't do something like creativity. I'm more a salesman. I love to sell. So the contact with the people. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing really. That's maybe why I love to knit, because it's something opposite to the. Because during the day, I'm a salesman. A lot of figures, so like this, and then you yarn, which is also like figures. You have also to count, to be concentrated, but in a creative way. So this is the combination. I can use my brain. I always say, for me, it's like yoga. So I love more knitting than yoga. Maybe yoga would be better for the body, I know, but for my mind, it's really like I disappear in another world, while I'm knitting.
Well, based on the pictures I've seen, your body's doing just fine. I
I
love
do
those
a lot
beach
of
pictures.
I do a lot of gym also. So I was also in structure for 22 years. Maybe there I could also live my creativity, because I was dance choreographer and step. So the Reebok step,
Oh,
also very
wow.
choreography, and I love this. I loved this. I have done it half time of my life, 22. Yeah, it's incredible.
Then I would
And
think that if you've done a lot of dance, you would also have a good sense of costuming. So then that would sort of creep over into the knitwear.
so
Does that make
maybe
sense?
yes, but if you make dance like in the gym, so it's like group fitness dance,
Oh, okay.
more maybe you work with Nike, with Reebok, and of course you combine everything. There I really have kept an eye. Colors of the shoes are the same, for example, of the shirt. These kind of things. Yes, but you were limited because the sport clothes are not like heavy clothes you can have in the dance, especially because I went to jazz dance also to train myself, and there you were more free to wear something else. Yeah, but there is more given a little bit what you can wear and what not.
So then, show us some of the knitwear you've been working on. I mean, you've had some really great pictures on your Instagram. How's that green sweater coming? Or is it done already? You had pictures of green. Yeah.
I'm still doing it. I went to holiday for 3 weeks. I went to the south of Italy, Lecce, where I'm from. And I thought, come on, in 3 weeks, I brought, I don't know, I think around 4 projects I brought with me, because I thought, come on, in 3 weeks, I have so many time to knit. Maybe I knitted, I don't know, 3 hours in 3 weeks. Nothing. But it's not an excuse. If you are on the beach, you sweat, you are not able to knit. I didn't realize that. And even if you didn't sweat anymore around 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you have salt on your hand. You know, it's not clean. It's not good to knit in Italy, I have to admit. So that's why I came back, and the progress was really small. That's why the green one is not yet done. I can show it. I prepare it. So I finished the backs. So the behind, this is the this one, the green, right?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. That looks very nice. I like all the different textures.
It is beautiful because it's easy. It's I don't know in English how you say. In Swiss German we say knitting right and knitting left. That's correct. Also in American. So this is right and this is left. I mean, this is right and this is left. I mean, but to do this kind of different things here, it's just, and there is the figures I meant before. You have to count 3 right, 1 left, 3 right, 1 left, for example. It needs a little bit more concentration, but the result is great. I really love it. The problem is that my boyfriend saw this color and he said, this color is mine. So I already know that it's not for me. I continue to do that. But initially it was thought for me. I don't know if the size would fit for him, because usually he needs a little bit 1 size bigger than me. But for an M, it seems very big. So maybe for him also.
It will probably work for him then, yeah. I would see you in brighter colors than that green. I would see you like in reds and blues that are really very vibrant, I think, with your coloring. Do you think?
Yeah, so I'm for example, this is what I'm wearing now. This is really my color, cream color, brown, cream, you know. This is more my color, so to admit. So for example, also the scarf I did, these 3 colors, you see. This is a little bit the color I like, so brown, white.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Soft color, a little bit more nature color. This is what I really like. But
okay.
I can wear everything, you know. I can wear blue.
Yeah, you can wear whatever whatever you want. But yeah, with I usually, well, actually, at my age, I wear whatever I want to. But you know, when I was younger and more concerned about fashion, I realized that what we call autumn colors really fit me more, like a muted blue or a muted red, not a vibrant, but like a brick red rather than a sort of a fire engine red, you know?
Okay.
Or greens, I love green, or, you know, that sort of thing. But now I wear whatever I want, you know? So when I turned 50, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just wanted to ask you, so would you say that with the older you get, the more the taste of the color changes also?
The older you get, the less you care what other people think. That's what it is. There's a poem that is very popular. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it begins, when I am old, I shall wear purple. And I wish I could remember the name of the poem, but you know, it goes on and on about that, about, you know, not caring. and doing whatever you please because you've earned the right just by being on the planet long enough. So,
so would you say that the color you're wearing now, maybe in the past you also wanted to wear, but you were not, I mean, allowed, or you saw too much what other people could say? So are they colors you already loved before, and loved still now? So
this color, this is sort of a pale orange, almost a pastel, but not really a pastel. But it's only in the past few years, really, that I've been wearing this sort of a color. I also have some things that are in a brighter orange. I have things in like a light purple and in a vibrant purple and a light blue and a vibrant blue, and like this is a hat that I just did. I also, yeah, I just actually I shouldn't show it to you because I did this as a testing somebody else's pattern, so it hasn't been published yet. But anyway, but I wanted to show you the color, and I have a cardigan that I made for myself in this color, and the only reason I don't wear it is, for one thing, I live in North Carolina, and for another thing, it's a little too big for me.
Oh, okay.
But I would wear it. I would show it to you, except it's on the other side of the room right now. But yeah, colors. I myself respond to color very strongly. I love bright, vibrant colors.
Mm-hmm.
I love every kind of color. So is that the same for you?
So what I recognized in the last 1-2 years, and maybe it's also because I'm getting older and don't care what other people think, is like this rose color,
oh, that's pink, very nice. Yeah,
it's in a rose color, and this I like really. So color like this is also mixed, you see, with gray, my color, my color, mixed a little bit with this rose, with this.
I like that.
Rose. And it's
that looks like another scarf, right?
Sorry?
That's a scarf?
Yes. I have so many scarves just to... this was the first picture of my Instagram. This was the first one where I wear like this. Yeah. And without my shirt now. And I was really surprised. I
wouldn't have checked if you took your shirt off now, but you know, that's...
I was surprised because I had more than 1,000 likes and maybe 10 friends. And I was asking myself, but how can I have 1,000 likes? And it was the first and the last time I had 1,000 likes since then. I don't know if this is...
I'm surprised about that, yeah.
Because Instagram see, you are new, so I push you a little bit. I don't know why, because all the pictures were around 200 and 300, you know, so it's in the normal range. But this was the first one, so I really was proud about this carpet. You can't imagine how many hours I spent for this scarf. If I would sell it, $1,500.
Yeah, you cannot... You cannot charge based on an hourly rate. You know, when I was working in technology as a consultant, the best rate I ever got was like $65 an hour. If I charged that for like a crochet work that I do, no one would ever buy it. They want stuff at Walmart prices, but they want, you know, extreme high quality for Walmart prices. They're not going to get it from me, I'll tell you that. But speaking of Instagram, though, I will of course put a link to your Instagram in the description when I post this interview. But also, do you have any other social media presence? Do you have a YouTube channel? Do you have like a...
So for the knitting, you mean, or in general, if I have other channels?
Anything you want to share.
Okay. So what I have is, in Instagram, I have 3 accounts. One is knitting, because this is a hobby which is it shows a part of me mean a little bit sport also, just to show that. So what I wanted to make with this Instagram account, and maybe I should do a little bit more, is just to show that for me, my interpretation of knitting is not something old school, you know, so only old people do that. I wanted to show that, come on, I love food, I love sport, I love life, and I knit. So also a little bit a coolness, you know, so it's not something for old people. No, it is not. So this is what I wanted also to show with this account. The other account I have is my private one, where you see me at the sea, you see me at sports, you see me a little bit my life. And I have the third account on Instagram is just because of my sales of AMC. It's just an account of my sales, I would say. Otherwise, I have a Facebook also, an account, only my private one, correct? That's it. That's it. So I don't have YouTube or other channels, you know, I wouldn't have, I have already too less time to really let progress these channels, so more not good. So
well, I will link your Instagram account. I hope you gain followers from the people who watch my videos. And any other links that you want to share, whether you would like me to make them public or not, just let me know by email. Where else was I going to go with this? Yeah, you mentioned about doing yarn not being an old person's thing, not being a women's only thing. What kind of response have you had? What kind of reaction have you had in public?
So I would say very positive, 95% really positive. I mean, of course, from side of women, because they are really surprised. So I knit also in the train. So I don't care if someone sees me and what they think. I really don't care. And there you see a lot of reaction, especially from older women. And they are really positive. So I really can't say, even if I post something to Facebook or Instagram, even in my other account, you know, I post sometimes that I'm knitting, people reaction is really positive. So I never heard something like, oh, what you're doing, something like for women, or I don't know, never. But I think this is, you know, this is how you express your things, because maybe also the fact that I'm gay, I never had a problem with that, you know, because for me it's okay, it's normal. So if you have a problem, it's yours, you know. So I go through the world like this through the day. I mean, and maybe it's also this, because people say, okay, even if you say something bad, you want to say something which is not nice to him, I don't care, you know. And I think this is an energy you already spread, so that you have just the reaction, the positive one. So this is my interpretation, yeah.
Now, okay, two directions I could go with this. One, my ex picked up knitting for several years before I came back to crocheting, because I had learned it as a child and put it down, and then picked it up just like 5 or 6 years ago. So we used to go to these local yarn shops, the small ones, not the big ones, and women would just be amazed to see men going into them. And I've had women, no, not usually not women, but I've had people say to me, "I've never seen a man knitting before," and I would always say, "You still haven't, because this is crochet." But I get a lot of mileage with that joke, actually. But
I read that in the past, men were knitting, not women. So in around 17, 18, you know, it was really something like for men, and then it becomes something for women. I mean, what does that mean? Something for women, something for men? But usually
I think it's a pattern in a lot of different fields where they start out and they think it's creative and they think it's wonderful, and then they decide it's drudgery, so they pass it off to women.
Mm-hmm.
And then after a few centuries, men pick it up again because they find it really fulfilling as a creative outlet.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's true of it's true in a lot of fields of endeavor, really. Now, also, do you have much of a yarn-based community where you are? In the U.S., we have quite a substantial yarn community, especially through YouTube, but also through local groups where sometimes it's we meet up together. Sometimes, like through YouTube, we meet up with like virtual meetings, if you want to call them that, or live streams. Do you have much of that in Switzerland?
Good question. So to be honest, I didn't really search for a community because, as I told before, I started when Corona was, and maybe I could search web, of course, but I didn't really have a look if there is one. And so I know one here near from me. There is a small community, all women, of course. So I would be the only man. I have been also two times there. Very nice. But I think it's something which I don't want to share with too many people, you know, because I love to knit, but I need also a little bit concentration while knitting. And this, if there are too many people, I do only mistakes. So I can't knit in front of the TV. Not possible. I can't do two things together, you know. So someone told me, you will be able. I think I will never be able to do that. I have to really look at my work, and if I look to you, mistake. And that's why maybe I'm not really looking for a community to be together and speak while knitting. This would be too confusing to me. So I prefer one-to-one, maybe three maximum. And then I like to knit and be in conversation with people. But I'm missing a little bit to be in a community because you have always something you don't know how to do. And maybe someone who knows can tell you how to do. And if you are alone, you have always to Google it. Even if YouTube nowadays, it's really easy to find solutions or to find new kind of knitting.
Certainly, yeah. That's where I get a lot of my ideas, is just watching tutorials for different kinds of stitches and going, oh, I could do something with that stitch. So speaking of which, well, go ahead.
Also Instagram, you know, so maybe now since I'm in Instagram, so my community in Instagram is really to follow others, to see their videos, to see their pictures. Wow, that's beautiful. So they give me, I would say at the moment, I speak always from the moment, my community is more Instagram, more online. And maybe there will be, maybe in a year, I don't know, I have more, maybe because of Corona, I didn't really have this desire to be with people together at the moment. And maybe it comes back, you know, and then I would be in a community. But I would say maybe here where I live, the community is very small. You have really to go to Zurich. In Zurich, of course, you will have more communities, but it's around 45 minutes for me. I don't think that I would go just for that. Yeah, I would combine with other things.
Well, as far as online communities, there are lots, and there are quite a few men's knitting and crochet, or rather, you know, men's yarn communities on Facebook. I have my own Facebook group, actually, too, which I would certainly invite you to join. It's called Bearded Yarn Dudes, not coincidentally. But there's a lot of learning there. You see people asking questions, and you learn from the answers that they get from the community. You see, you learn about different kinds of yarns, and the discussions are really interesting. And you see some things that are really interesting ideas. Yeah. So let me ask you: do you create designs? Do you do patterns?
Me?
Yeah.
It's too early. Maybe later. No, no, no. And this is what the woman who sells me the yarn, last time I spoke with her, and I said, "Ah, I saw on Instagram this and this," and she said, and uh, and she said, "Yeah, you can invent what you want at the end. So everything you invent is maybe something new." And I was really surprised because for me it was like mathematics. There is something given, and that's it. And then I realized, oh, okay, you can also create your own. So I didn't know that, but I would say maybe by mistake, but I would not be at the stage to say now I create something myself. I think I have so many things to learn at the moment. Before I would like to learn everything, and then maybe I try also to do something new. And if I do that, I will let you know.
Have you ever taken a pattern then and then just made changes to it to fit your needs? Yeah. So that's actually where I got started. I had a pattern, and by the end, I had more of my own changes than there was of the original pattern. So I thought, oh, I've become a designer, haven't I?
Wow. How much do you charge for telling me what you do?
Well, let's see. When I was in technology, I got $65 an hour. So there we go.
Now, I think it's like cooking, you know. So when I cook a new recipe, I do it like the recipe says, just to see how the result should be. Then next time, the next time off, I try to make my changes. But the first time, I always make like the recipe says. I know that I'm really Swiss. Now you understand what I mean with Italian.
No, I do the same thing. Yeah.
So
yeah,
this is
exactly
why maybe my relatives in Italy would say, "Come on, I never cooked like a recipe says. I always do it like my freestyle, you know." Me not. So the first time I want the original one, and then I will change. And I think also with knitting, it's the same. I want really to learn original kind of knitting. Then why not?
That makes a lot of sense. It does, yeah. So what about the finished objects? Are they all for you or your partner or gifts for people? Do you find that you have things that you don't know what to do with?
A lot of no. I mean, I have this scarf I showed before. This is mine. Then this one I made is my colors, but this is for my husband. So this is wearing it because I have too many scarves. This one, for example, do you know Anne with an E, the new from Netflix, the series Anne with an E?
No.
Oh, you have to see it. You have to see it. It's so beautiful. And I was impressed about her scarf, and I said, I want that scarf too. It's not exactly her, especially the color. It's a little bit a blue, a baby blue, we call that. And it's right, just in the front and in the back, it's knitted right. So it's
sort of like this.
Oh yeah! Wow.
I have this. I was going to make something with this later.
Okay, cool. And what I like, because it's like wearing it like this. It's double. You wear it like this, and I like it. You know, in the summer in Switzerland at evening, it's always cold. At the moment, we have only rain in Switzerland since 2 months. So when you go out, you can really take this. I'm getting older, you see, and to give me a little bit more when go out. And this I love really. So this is one of my scarves I really love. But for example, the one I restarted, a new one, the finished one, I gave it to my mother, is this one here you saw also in the picture, one of the gifts I made.
Nice.
It was this one here. Yeah, this I liked it very, very much. So I'm doing it. And easy.
That looks like a yarn that's difficult to work with, though.
It is, because really, really thin, but it's really easy at the maybe the first 2-3 lines are a little bit difficult, and then it's easy. So it's really nothing difficult. And I'm doing this for mother of my husband. Yeah, so the pullover is for my husband. I'm doing also a cardigan. I heard before you also did a cardigan. The problem is,
well, I have one in the works that I just need to write up.
You see,
so as a pattern.
almost finished. Now almost finished. But the problem is,
I like the color of the yarn.
yeah, it's like a gray, green a little bit. But the problem is that it's a cardigan for woman, and I thought, oh, I'm a man, so I have to take a XL, and now I think it's too big, absolutely too big. So I don't know if maybe.
Well, if it's too big, send it to me.
Okay. So how tall are you?
Well, I'm only about 5'10". What is that? Maybe 178 centimeters, something like that.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm 176, so I think you're still too small. I think this is for 185. I don't know. So
oh, wow.
I'm doing a project which I think I can't wear it. And what I do here, this is the same color as you showed me before. You're blue.
Oh, that's very much like this blue, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it's very similar. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, and this is actually very cheap yarn. So,
I really know this was a little bit expensive, but
I gathered that you like the nice yarns.
And what
I like nice things, but I don't have the budget for.
What I'm doing here, if you look, I don't know how this is called in English. It's you make right and left, but on the other side you make the opposite. Where you made right, you make left, and where you make left, you make right. So it's the opposite. So it comes like this.
So it's I don't
like pearl. In Germany we say pearl.
Yeah, like a pearl is it's so is it like knit one, purl one, and then on the opposite side it's gonna be the opposite? That might be.
Could be.
It's not right here beside me. It might be sort of the equivalent to, or something similar to in crochet, what we call a rice stitch, where in one row we'll do a front post double crochet, a back post double crochet, front post double crochet, back post double crochet, and then in the next row we'll just alternate. Where there was a front post, there will be a back post. Where there was a back post, there was a front post, you know. And correct. So it comes out, I wish I had, I don't have one within reach right now, but it comes out with a nice texture. If you've looked at my Instagram, you've seen some examples, yeah. But that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, so this is, but this is how you say in English. You know, when you wash your, it's a towel, like to after you wash.
Like something. A washcloth or a dish towel or
after you wash something, you.
A towel.
Yeah, so it's a towel. Yeah, yeah. I'm doing a towel.
Like a dish towel or a larger towel.
It's a. Like this, you see, it's not really big. So maybe I go to add like this and then I finished. So it's not really big. But here maybe you see that I changed. This was another one, and here I started to change. And this is very, very difficult because it's right, but I take two, not one, two, and knit it right. So it's a little bit difficult because you see it's very thin. You see here, it's so it's not anymore straight. You see, so
yeah, exactly.
You're really there, and maybe I make two lines per day because it's not nice to do that. You know, like I don't know, like to do something like this. Or this one. This one is easy. Just on the right side, you can do it while not looking but listening TV, you know, in my thing. That's why I have always more project in progress, because sometimes I want to be concentrate, then I'm concentrate. Sometimes I want just to relax and hear something on the TV. I do something easy. So I have never one project. I have always at least 3 projects on the same time.
Me too. And then do you have... I also have a box of unfinished objects that were like works in progress that I don't know if I'll ever finish. And I should, because one example is like a blanket, and all I really have to do is finish piecing together all of the different pieces. Yeah. But I hate that part.
I had this dream to do that, but maybe I will finish in 20 years because 3-4 months ago, we bought a Cinquecento from 1972, so an old one. And I want to cover it, you know? And
1962.
So, sorry?
1962. So.
Okay. Yeah, but just I mentioned the year to let you that it's not a new Cinquecento. I mean, which you see nowadays. It's really an old one, and he comes from the same region I'm from, so from Lecce. Mm-hmm. And I would like to cover it, you know, and I would like to knit something. So, but I shouldn't work for 2 years maybe to do this project because it would be a lot of time.
Do you find sometimes that if you just put something aside and then do something else for a while and then come back to that first project, that you benefit that way? That just some sort of diversion helps you, and then you can focus on it better when you take it up again?
Good question. Yes, definitely yes. Sometimes maybe there is an object and project. I say project, so you say object, correct? Okay.
Well, we say a lot of different things.
So. Okay. Sometimes, you know, you start with something, you like it, and after 3-4 days, you see, okay, it's a little bit boring, maybe, you know. Even this one, which looks really difficult, it's boring because it's always the four lines which repeats. And maybe if I repeat 4 lines, I repeat again 4 lines, I have to take it away and make something different, you know. And then when I restart with the other project, I'm again motivated, again new, you know. So yes, definitely I would agree. That's maybe why I have projects, because I want to stop something, doing something new, and then I go back again with a new spirit. Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, sometimes I get bored in the middle of large projects, so I have to put it aside. Because if I don't, I find I'll just mess up. I'll make more mistakes. I mean, oh, speaking of mistakes, what is your tolerance level for mistakes? I did this. Actually, this was a discussion on one of my live streams on YouTube where do you draw the line? How much can you tolerate in terms of mistakes? And does it change depending upon what you're making or who the intended recipient is?
So, I would say, for example, this one here, you can make so many mistakes you want, you don't see it. This is really cool to make mistakes, I would say. But for example, my pullover here, every smallest mistake, you see it. And there, I'm absolutely not tolerant. So I really, after 3-4 lines, go again to have a look, because if I see a mistake, I go back again. Because it's something you wear, it's something you see, and you would see it your whole life. And that's why I said, no, I'm not tolerant for a mistake. Maybe a scarf, you know, maybe. But I think the more you could see it, the more I'm intolerant. I would say where I'm very tolerant is, you know, when you knit, maybe one line is not the same as the other. Maybe if you wash it, it mixes a little bit together and it's a little bit more the same line per line. But I'm really not perfect in knitting, so not every right and every left is equal to the other, you know, that you can see still. But this is okay for me. I accept that. I mean, it's handmade, so that's okay. But if you have a really mistake, I don't accept it. The problem is that I'm not yet able to solve the mistakes. I don't know how, you know. I just go back until the mistake and do it right and then go further on again. And the mother of my husband, for example, she has done knitting since, I don't know, 50 years. And she really know how to do that without this thing, you know. In this pullover, for example, here somewhere, I added one, how you say? So I had
You added a stitch? Yeah.
Yeah, so I added one. I had 69 when I started, and I had 70. So I added one without I knew that, and I saw that after 20 lines, I realized that there is something I don't like, you know, and I showed her that and said, yeah, you have taken one too much. You have 70, not 69, and it, oh my God, what shall I do? So I go all back. So you would open it, of course, you wouldn't knit back. I said, oh, no, I'll show you how to do this, and she knitted until this area, I mean, and she opened and it fell down, and my heart was really so, oh my God, she's yeah, my pullover is gone, you know. I said, no, you can continue just a little bit like this, and it went. So this is maybe what I have to learn maybe in a community, how to correct mistakes, and then you are less afraid about if you make one, because you know, oh, okay, it's easy to fix it.
Yeah. My ex became an expert at knitting, and I would see him fix mistakes that were like 10 or 20 rows back, and with like a crochet hook, and I thought I was watching magic. I did not understand what was going on. Well, knitting is a mystery to me anyway, because I crochet. Honestly, there's still so much to learn with crochet that I'm not bothered about not knowing knitting yet. But it's people do that, and I don't understand how that works. A lot of times I can recover from a crochet mistake, but a lot of times I do have to go back. Now, and there are times when, even if it's a mistake that I'm reasonably sure that I would be the only one who would ever notice it, I still have to go back and fix it.
Absolutely.
Looks like you agree, yeah.
Absolutely with you, yeah, because I love a little bit of perfection. I mean, I love also if it's not perfect, yeah. But if I know there is a mistake, I see always that mistake. I don't see the pullover, I see the mistake, you know. And that's why I really prefer to correct it and to have a pleasure my whole life on that pullover instead to see always the...
Exactly.
It's crazy a little bit. Sometimes it's like in the life, you know, you maybe you see a problem, but see the whole life. It's nothing that problem. Yeah, but sometimes we are so fixed with something so that I don't want that, you know, and yeah.
Exactly, and actually, I've also had that socially where I would wear something that I had made, and I would not at the time, but I would hear afterwards that people had said things about it, and then I would never want to wear it again.
Oh.
And I would give it away. I would donate it. And I mean, even talking about it makes me feel a little nauseous right now. But it's you know, as human beings, we're sort of, I would use stronger language, but we're sort of messed up, aren't we?
Yeah, mistakes are not nice, but unique. You make it unique with mistakes at the end.
And my ex used to tell people, because he would always coach people, because people, his friends, he would always do it like at work when he was on a break or something, or at lunchtime, and people were always interested. And he would coach people. He would say that a mistake is your assurance that it wasn't made in, you know, some sweatshop in China and sold at the Gap, although the Gap doesn't exist anymore, does it? I think but you know, wasn't sold at Walmart, you know. But still, if I can see it, I don't want to see it. You know?
I understand. Do you have something you prefer from the material? You know, merino, or I don't know. Is there something you prefer to knit?
You mean in terms of yarn type?
Yes.
For me, it depends upon what I'm doing. If I'm doing a baby blanket, I want to use something that can be washable, and I do a lot of baby blankets. you know, or baby hats, or even hats for any kind of a hat like this. This is very cheap yarn that is washable. But if I'm doing something that's a little more sophisticated, I want more of a wool content. But I still don't have a lot of money to spend on yarn, so that is also a concern. So I want something that is going to be high quality, that I can afford in the quantity that is necessary for what I want to create. So it varies. There are some really nice, soft touch, 100% synthetic yarns out there. And some people would run a mile in the other direction as soon as you say 100% synthetic. But let them. That's more yarn for me, you know?
Of course.
What about you? I know you have said already that you like really nice yarns.
Yes, yes. I love if the yarn is 100% natural, and I go really to buy it to a woman who has just a yarn shop, you know, really specialized, because I really want to see different quality, different colors. So I prefer to spend my money and support a small shop. I mean, who has a really good quality and really good.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
But for me, it's very important to have a 100%, if possible, natural. I loved until now. I loved this one here. This was a baby llama. Do you say llama in English?
Yeah, llama. Yeah.
Really soft, so it's really beautiful to touch. And otherwise, maybe
I sort of want to touch it now.
Yeah, I said it to you, then. And also, you know, I like a lot. Imagine that I never did socks until now. I want to start also with socks. And I thought that you can do socks also with 100% natural yarn, and you can't. I didn't know that. So she explained me that if you want to do socks, that you have to have something synthetics inside, because if you walk, then you will have holes, you know. So I didn't know that. So I wanted really 100% socks, so yarn for the socks. She said, you can, but after a week you walk with them, it's broken. So she said, with socks, yarn, you can do everything, but with yarn, you can't do socks. So there I also learned a little bit about the material. So there I have...
Are you... Yeah, oh, that's cool. Are you yarn first or design first?
I would say design.
Or both.
So design. I go and have a look what I want to do. I show to her and say, this I want. And then she goes with me through the colors and through the different... For example, the pullover, I wanted a black one in the beginning. And then she taught me, listen, black is beautiful, but if you take black, you don't see the structure you are doing like this. The structure, you don't see if it's too dark. I learned again. So, okay, so take something lighter. So that's...
Black is also difficult to work with. I mean, you have to have like really optimal light in order to be able to see what you're doing with black.
That's right. Really, yeah, that's correct. Do you work more with, like, you know, the round things, or more like this one, which is just, you know, two of these?
Well, I crochet. I don't knit, so.
Okay. Because I started.
Now there is a crochet equivalent in Tunisian crochet, and I have done a little bit with Tunisian crochet. I understand Tunisian crochet. I think my frustration with Tunisian crochet is that I'm not good enough with it. So because I'm not good, I think I hate it. You know, I have to be really, really good at something.
Okay. Yeah, no, because I started with this one here. I mean, so with two of this. And then I tried with this one here, and I preferred it because the longer the the project is, the heavier it is. And with the other one, you have everything on your hand, you know, and here you don't have, because you have it on your leg, and you just have the necessary yard you need. And I preferred to kind of, yeah.
Now there are Tunisian hooks that, okay, let's see.
Yeah.
This is a Tunisian hook that has a long cable.
Correct.
Like
so you
that,
have also
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But most of the time with standard crochet, you only have like one stitch on your hook at a time. So whatever you have is going to be in your lap. I'm working on a big blanket right now that, honestly, it's gotten so big it's a pain in the butt to work with, because every time I pick it up, it takes me 5 minutes to find out where my last stitch was, and
okay.
And heaven forbid if the hook has fallen out onto the floor or something. But you know, I'll show you that. But this is, wow, it's heavy too.
Oh my God, it's huge! Wow, beautiful.
It's I don't even know how big it's going to wind up, because I'm just going to go until I finish all the yarn. Because I had some of this Christmas yarn, this red and green and white,
yes,
that I didn't quite like, and I couldn't find anything else to do. And this green yarn was something that I bought in a substantial amount for a different blanket project, and then I abandoned that project, and I had all of this yarn. And then it occurred to me to do that. This is somebody else's pattern. But I love doing it, and it's really not difficult.
Okay. But it looks like.
Well, that's what I like to do, things that look more difficult than they are.
So like this one, yeah?
Yeah, you make people think that you're smarter than you are.
Yeah, that's correct, yeah. I forgot my glasses now, you know, that makes also a bit smart.
Okay. Well, I can't see without my glasses, so I have no choice there.
You know, tomorrow I have an appointment, because the older I get, the less I see from near. So I really have to take it away. And now it's not long enough to see things. So now I have really to go.
The trombone arm, they call it. The Posaunen's arm.
Yeah. So tomorrow I have really an appointment to check my eyes, and I have to wear also glasses or maybe lenses. I will see, yeah, but that's normal. I mean, at the end, everyone wants to get older, but have also to accept what that means. I mean, you have other small problems, and that's okay, you know.
Yeah, if that's your biggest problem, then you're not really terribly bad off. I actually, a month or two ago, I went for an eye appointment because I thought I needed a new prescription, but fortunately I didn't, because my glasses are very expensive.
Okay.
But while I was there, I met someone who saw me crocheting while I was waiting, and we struck up a conversation. She's now my best local crochet buddy. And so we, you know, give each other yarn and do a lot of stuff, and it's fun. So that's a social outlet when you do your craft in public. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure you've met lots of nice people just by knitting in public too.
That's correct, yeah. It's like going out with dogs in Switzerland. If you want to get connected with other
dogs,
and you will meet so many people who has dogs, and you speak together. And I would say it's the same thing with knitting, because everyone, so once a day, I mean, if I'm in the train knitting, for sure one person will speak with me regarding knitting. So you have really contact. Last time I remember I went to work with the train, and it takes around 55 minutes in the train. So I really wear my headphones, you know, had like a Indian meditation music. I love that in the morning, and knitting and be myself there really. And they came a group into the train of I think 5 or 6 women, around 70. They were just going for a walk, you know, and they didn't stop anymore the whole travel of the train to to talk to me. You know, they started to. I even didn't hear them because I had the noise cancelling. So she came to me like, you know, in front of my face, just to, okay, hello. I wear it away. And really, it was so nice at the end. And I really thought maybe they go out in the next stop. They were until my stop in the train. So I was the whole morning. Yeah. Very nice chat, yes. But I also would have loved to have a little bit my own time, you know, before you go in the office. And so what I want to say is really in the train, it's typical that they speak with you, typical.
I used to see, this was back before I started crocheting, but my ex had already started knitting and he was, you know, really good at it. When we would go, we were in the suburbs of New York City. So when we would go on the commuter train into the city for something, he would pull out whatever his project was. And I had more fun watching people watching him than watching him, because it was amazing to see people's reactions. Because, you know, he's younger. He's probably your age now, but, you know, he's younger than I am, certainly. And here he was doing this, especially like 10 years ago. That's another thing where I think in the past 10 years, it's really become bigger and bigger and bigger for men of all ages to do it. But like 10 years ago, it was still considered an old lady thing. And here he was like, well, I don't know, probably 30 years old at that time, and knitting and doing really great work. And just watching people watching him was fascinating too. Do you ever see that sort of thing where the reactions are more interesting than anything else?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny, the reaction of people seeing someone knitting. Is, I mean, it's nothing, in my opinion, special, but they really react like, oh wow, what is he doing? Did you see now that there was a guy in the Olympia in Japan? Did you see that picture that he was knitting after he has win something? Then he was knitting before he had.
Oh, you mean Tom Daley, the diver?
Yes, correct. So this
he has. Have you seen his Instagram?
Yes.
Made with Love by Tom Daley. I love him. I watch him on YouTube. I follow both of his Instagram channels, the knitting one and the regular. I think he's amazing. I also think he's easy on the eyes. But and his, I think it was just today, he showed the finished object of his Olympic cardigan that he made, that has the Olympic emblem on the back and the Union Jack and all sorts of symbols all over it, and it's really, really beautiful.
Yeah. It's so funny how the reaction worldwide was for this picture, you know. So even friends of me sent me that picture. Look at him! I saw it. So just seeing a man knitting. If it was a woman, no reaction. Maybe, you know, it's normal. And because it's a man, that reaction is. I have to smile every time when I see people react, just because you are a man doing something like this. But yeah, it's also nice. I mean, it's something, you know. Okay, it seems I'm special in this kind of doing something, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, there are lots of other cases of men who have achieved some sort of social media presence, who are noticed in public. I think it's great. But you know, somebody sent me just today. Somebody sent me a picture from Tom Daley's Instagram, where he was showing a cardigan that he had made, a matching one for himself and for his little. I think his boy is 3 years old now. His son. He and his partner have an adopted son who is. We never get to see the son's face, but we get to hear his voice, and he's so smart and so cute. But but he showed the cardigan on both of them, and he was going, should I publish this pattern? And everybody is going, yes, of course you should.
I would have said, is it an XL or is it an L? Did you make the same mistake like me or not? It would be the first question.
Well, I don't know. And do you know, actually, I think an L in the U.S. is very different from an L in Europe too. I'm quite sure that
that's correct. Yeah. Usually, I mean, in America, I have to take an S maybe, which fits for me, and in Italy, you have to take an XXXL to have an L. You know, it's very that's why I don't like really to buy online. I'm old school in that kind of thing. I really like to go into the shop and see and try. You know, I know they can send it to you. You can try it at home. If you don't like it, to resend back. But I don't know that.
That's a pain in the butt. Yeah.
I won't really be there. I want to touch that. I want to see it and wear it, and I don't know. So, by the way, I also love. I have to admit, I love clothes from Vivienne Westwood.
I know. Vivienne Westwood?
Yes. Very, very expensive. I maybe buy once every 2 years, and even if it's less price, you know, but I love her kind of, she was a punk in the 70s, so she's a really crazy woman. Now I think she's 80 and still red hair, you know, really cool woman. And I love really her clothes. And there are three main shops in London, in Paris, and in Milano. Even in New York, I didn't find her like a shop. It was in some shops, you know, but not a Vivienne Westwood shop. And the closest one for me is Milano. Of course, they have salts. I try to go there sometimes and buy something. And this I like, you know, not too many things, because they have one shirt, one. If you like it, they go back and see if they have your size. And this I love, you know, because if you go there and you have 30 shirts, same, but different sizes, it's too much for me. It's too much. I don't like this kind of shopping. So I'm really old school, I know.
So then, if she had a shirt, say like the one you're wearing right now, if she had a shirt, what would she charge for it?
It depends. Now it's not anymore that expensive as it was 10 years ago, I realized, because I love really shirts from her, because she has with 3 buttons, you know. And before, maybe I spent around, so the regular price, maybe around €280.
For a shirt?
Yeah, very, very expensive.
Oh.
But it was the half price. I bought it for the half price, I mean. But nowadays, maybe a shirt is around, you can buy it maybe about €140, which is okay. I mean, she's a really haute couture. Huh? She's really a name. I mean, this is normal that you pay a little bit more, because they are really, I don't like to see the brand. You will never see me with Gucci. I don't like to show brands.
Yeah.
I just like if there is a special color, special texture, or special cutted, you know, then I love it. And then I'm willing to pay something for that, but not because of the name. And what I like her is she doesn't write really Vivienne Westwood. Just maybe a small sign. If you don't know that sign, you don't recognize that it's Vivienne Westwood, but you see the shirt and say, wow, nice shirt. Who is that? You know? And this I like in general. In haute couture, I like if something special with color, texture, and the kind, if it's made, but not the name. I don't like to show name.
I can see that. Yeah, I'm not that big on logos myself, or names, that sort of thing. I don't think we would, if we went shopping together, we would really get along that well.
Maybe a sock No, but it's really, I'm not fixed on a brand, I want to say. But be sure if you put some shirts, at the end, I don't know the brand, for sure, I will pick the one of the investors. Okay, again, the most expensive one. This is me. This is me. That's why I have to work a little bit more to earn a bit money.
I often choose something without knowing brands. I will choose something that is the more expensive ones. And then I put it back and choose and buy the cheap one.
The problem is I can't put it back again. If I want it, I touched it, so I have to buy it.
Do you know, when I was working, I had a better budget and I could do that, but nowadays not so much. But anyway. So, let's see. Gosh, we've been talking for a long time now. Yeah, it has been such a pleasure. Is there anything else you would like for our audience to know?
My pleasure. I think I've said a lot of my personality. No, I think the rest is secret.
I think I want to get to know you better and know those secrets, but we won't publicize any of that.
No, I think, no. I mean, I like to cook. I love to do sport. I love to knit. So a lot of my personality. I would say that's enough for the first time. If I have more fans, maybe I reveal something more.
Okay, you can reveal whatever you want to me, but I hope that that you will gain more Instagram followers, and do send me any links by email, because I would also like to know you on Facebook, even if it's privately and I don't publicize it.
I can send you some links then, yeah.
Okay, cool. But yes, this has been such fun. I really enjoyed chatting with you. And to everybody who has watched this entire interview, I want to say thank you for following us. And of course, like, subscribe, comment, share, all the standard YouTube crap, and keep coming back. I'm